Okay, welcome back, guys. So, like I promised in our previous class, I said our next class will be building a website. So, actually, I want us to have something to follow. I want us to have something that we're able to like look at and, would I say, like a guide. So, we'll be using this site as our guide. So, we'll be making a copy of this particular site. So, we'll be adding some images to our own and some other things just to make it look better. So, let's see. So, let's make a copy of this site with Bootstrap. Pure Bootstrap. So we're using our same page that we're using before. We're using the same Bootstrap that we've had. So all we just need to do is take away everything in the page. So now our page is empty. So the first thing we're going to do is remember we have an empty page now. So looking at this page, we need this at the top. We need the nav bar. So let's add navbar to our project. So say nav. So remember navbar classes are class. We just have navbar. I believe you remember that. So say navbar expand LG, then we have navbar. This is for the background. Navbar dark, PG dark. So there's a navbar light, navbar dark, and so on. So what the first thing we'll do is, if we look at this particular website, mistake. If we look at this particular website, it starts from here. That means it's a container, not a container flow this time around. So let's put a container inside div class container. So we have a container already. Now the first thing you notice here is we have this as our logo. I don't think I explained that. There's a particular class for that. We call it navbar brand. So that one deals with the logo. So the class is navbar minus brand. That's the class for referencing your logo in Bootstrap. So let me just leave it this way. They will say for us, okay, let's just put class web. That'll be the name of that'll be the logo of our. So let's refresh, let's see if we have made something. Now you can see we are getting close to it. Now let's create our, what do you want to do next? We want to create our want to create our home, about our links. So I just go say div class is equals to what should I do? Okay, let's just use this. Let's say that's our class should be navbar nav. I believe you remember that. Okay, no, I think this is for a UL. Let's go for our UL. Our class, that's our UL, sorry. I think I missed it out. So that will be class. Our class will be navbar nav. Then inside our navbar nav, then we should have okay, I think navbar nav. Then we should have, what else do we have? Nothing more. Then we have our L1. Now our L1 inside our class. Remember the class for L1 is always nav item. Then we have our anchor tag. Remember our class for our anchor tag is always, the class is always nav link. Then here we can have our home. Okay, so let me duplicate this and let's see what we get. 1, 2, 3. Here's a home, about, gallery, then contacts. If I come in here and I refresh, now we have our home, we have our contacts, we have our gallery. But you notice something, it's somehow to the end and we're using a container. So what happened there? What happened? Because we closed our container here, whereas it's not supposed to be closed there. It's supposed to be closed at the end here. So that was why our this thing took another shape. So if we refresh and come back, now we have our navbar, we have everything intact. Okay, so let's go on. We're not creating this. I believe you know how to do this. So this part of your assignment, you add this to it. So next thing we have after then, we have another area. So let's use our header tag here. Header to create, revert to that as our header. So if you look at the header, it has a background of black. So let's just use our BG. Say class, say BG dark. So let's give it a padding up and down. So PY5. So to pass that, there will be some spacing. Now the first thing, if you look at this, let's come back here. We have a Bootstrap template, blah blah blah, and we have an image of size 600 by 400 here. So how do we go about that? Now the first thing is look at the spacing. This is a container. We'll go to div class, then we'll put in a container. That's the first thing we'll do. We have our container. Then let me give our container some padding too. PX5, that's left from, sorry, like that, that's left and right. I believe you remember all this. So that's why we're making it so we can remember everything we've learned so far. Okay, so we want to bring in our columns and our rows. So let's just come here and say, okay, div class row. Now the first thing is we have, remember we have 2 rows, 2 columns here. We have 1, 2. So if you look at it, they looks like almost the same. So this should be 6, this should be 6. So let's work on this. Let's say 6, 6. So if you refresh here, you will not see, you can only see a black background, nothing more. So we want to be 6, 6. So we say div class column md6. Now when it's on a small device, we want SM12. Let's leave it that way. Now the first thing we have here is we have an H1. But if you look at this, let's look at it very well. Okay, we have an H1 that shows this. So let's try that. We have H1. Okay, let's see H1. And H1 says, let's copy this text in here. Now if I come here and I refresh, I can't see anything. Why? Because the text is not the color we want. So let's come here. I will say let's wrap this in a div class. Let's just call it what should we call this now? If we're trying to give it a name, let's just give it the names that we want. Let's say text. Let's just give it the class I want to use. Straight text white, text center. You remember all these classes. So bring this here. This div should be at the end here. So if I should refresh this now, we should have something like this. But you can see it's at the center, so we don't want the text center because that was not how theirs looks like. So this is good. Now let's check if we are on the same page. No. I think it's a bit to the top. There is a kind of spacing to the top. So let's give you some spacing. So we can use our PY. Yeah, I think our PY will be the best to use at this moment. Let's use our PY, or let's use okay, let's use margin. Margin, MY, that's margin top and bottom. So if we refresh this, okay, yeah, we are here. Now if you look at our what is it called, our H1 here is not big enough. So there's a class that probably I think I didn't mention the other time. You can say font weight, you can use bold. So the font weight bold can make it a bit bolder, and I think that's just all. And I'll say let's use display. Remember our display class. Let's try display 2 and see how it looks like. Oh, that's too much. Let's go for display 5 and see if this will be better. Okay, let's see if we have exactly what they have. Template for modern business. So we are getting there. We are getting there. Okay, so underneath this they have for quickly design blah 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 and blah. So let's pick this. Let's pick that test. They will come in here. Now, if you notice something, they have different colors. So we need to make it different from this other one. So how do you go about that? Okay, so let me come in here. So let's wrap this to a div class. Now if you notice the text is it's not that white, so we can use text muted. Then we'll come in here, then we'll put a P here and paste it in between. Okay, so let's come in here and check. Okay, now you notice something, the difference between these two. You notice for this we have this a bit close to it, and this is not for our own is a bit down. Why? Because of our margin top and bottom that we make use of. So we can just come here and just change this to just empty only, so that to be for margin top only. So if we come back to our page here and we refresh, now we have this. Now we have to make that text a bit bigger so that we'll be able to enjoy, so to look exactly more like their own. So let's do that now. So what should we do now? We might need to put in extra style. Now you see where the aspect of extra style comes in, where you need to write your own style just to make it look a bit better than it used to be. Okay, so let me write some style. I'm trying to see if we could. Okay, let's add some font weight. Let's put normal to it. Let's do refresh and see. So what I'll just do is I will add a style here. I'll call the name of the style. I'm trying to see a name I can call it. Let me use lead. Let me see if it will make it better. Oh, okay. I think this is good. Lead. I think I mentioned it earlier as one of our styles that we use for typography. Yeah, I think I did. If I didn't mention it, so that's another one. That's another one. So lead can make our class, can make our text a bit bigger. So it actually another style. Instead of using text muted, let me use another color. I know some of them might not be useful. Let me use another color. We'll call it text white. And I'll just say 50. So I want the white to be at level kind of 50, not 100% white, just 50% white. It's the same thing as using text muted. You see, it's a bit lighter. So So that's another thing. So that's why I always like us to do practicals like this. We learn during the practical and we get to know new things. So let's continue with our site. Now we want to put some button in between. So let's put some button here. Okay, before we continue, let's check. I think their font still look a bit bigger than ours. Okay, I think I know what's going on here. Let's look at our column. The column we are in. I think the column has some. The column has some padding left and right that makes it a bit bigger than that other one. I think so. Let's say MY5. Let's see. Okay, I think I like this. I think it's making a bit sense, a bit more sense this way. Let me see if we can add something to this. What can we add to this to make it better? Okay. Let's continue. I've thought of something, but I couldn't think of anything. So the next thing we have to do is to put the buttons. So the buttons comes in here. So div class button group. So say button. What's the first button? Get started, and second one is learn more. That should be BTM primary. So if we should come here,